Hello, welcome to Interdependent Study. I am your host and accountability buddy, Kimberly Logan. Today we are continuing with Chapter 3 of Just Sit, a meditation guidebook for those who know they should but don't. And we will start where we left off last week with some notes on the 8-week plan. As always, we will be finishing our time together with a meditation. So if you haven't gotten your 3 minutes in every day for the past 7 days, I got 2 days, but not necessarily in a row, then you'll get your 3 minutes today. So, notes on the 8-week plan. Prime time. It's much easier to remember to sit if you make a plan to sit every morning the second your kids leave for school or after you feed your fish. So think of your reminder as if it's a kitchen timer going off. When the door slams shut behind the kiddies, ding, it's time to meditate. When the fish swim around nibbling on those little creepy fish flakes, ding, it's time to meditate. Just sit. Most of us are all or nothing. So the idea of a meditation practice sparks an entire list of life-altering plans. Quit drinking, quit smoking, stop eating so much, start exercising more, lose 30 pounds, go paleo, do a digital detox, and get into therapy. Don't go changing everything all at once. That kind of behavior belongs in the box with New Year's resolutions. For these 8 weeks, simply focus on meditation. That's it. Just sit. Let's be real. You won't do any of the above if you try to do them all at once, at least not for more than a day or two. Start with meditation and watch. Let it reveal what is causing you to pick up the cigarette, the donut, or that 5th glass of wine. Meditation will help you learn to be kind to yourself, and then it will be much easier to deal with all the self-destructive habits in your life. Do it anyway. If it was easy to show up every day, everyone would do it. So whether you are too tired or sick or lazy, do it anyway. No one has ever said, "I regret meditating today." Popular meditation spark times. As soon as you get up in the morning, right after your first cup of coffee, tea, after walking the dog, after your shower, before your workout, after yoga, before work in your parked car, during lunch, after work in the driveway, before making dinner, after putting the kids to bed, before you check your email, after a glass of wine, before you go to sleep. Obviously, during pandemic times, some of these are a bit more doable and natural, but you get the idea. Alert. There is no instant gratification in meditation. Our addiction to instant gratification is a self-control problem. Just the small act of taking a breath, connecting, and becoming present slows you down and initiates a delay in the craving for instant gratification. That delay is the difference between responding and reacting. And it stops the autopilot loop of needing whatever it is that we think is going to soothe us in that moment. We are living in the age of I want it now, with seamless Amazon, Netflix, Kindle, Uber, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, texting, and Tinder. There is no wait time. The pleasure loop has a sneaky capacity to lull us into a stupor that makes us forget why we are buying or drinking or texting. By observing these urges, we slow down and ask, hey, why am I doing this? Change starts with observation. Watch and wait. Watch. Notice what is going on in your mind every time you have a craving. Wait. Don't just go for it, meaning don't just order the shoes, grab the donut, check your email for the 100th time. Wait. Even if it's just for a few minutes, then really pay attention to what you're doing. This way. Some questions you may ask. Not far now. How long does it take to have to force yourself to show up? How long does it take not to have to force yourself to show up to the cushion anymore, but to want to instead? It takes as long as it takes. For some people, it is immediate, and for others, an eternity. Chances are you'll be somewhere in between. The reality is that some days you will have to force yourself to the cushion, and some days it will feel easy and natural. The key is not to worry too much about either experience. Notice whatever you may be feeling and sit anyway when the going gets tough. It's easy for me to schedule meditation time when life is smooth, but when stress takes over, I can't seem to do it. That is normal, and it's also why we practice. These stressful moments are exactly when you should be revving up your meditation practice. It's the best tool to pull out during tough times. Fake it till you make it. What about the days when it feels fake and forced? There definitely will be days when it will feel ridiculous or stupid or just plain awful. And those are as important, or perhaps even more important, than the days when it feels real and necessary. Even when you feel like a meditation fraud, sit. Everyone has those days. So what? Pay attention to what comes up. Let meditation serve as a spotlight as to what's going on in that crazy little brain of yours. Enjoy the show. 2 steps back. I seem to be getting worse at this, not better. When I started, 15 minutes wasn't a problem, and now I can barely last 5. There is no worse or better. It's easy to sit for a longer period in the beginning because it's new and exciting. But you will have days when 5 minutes feels like 5 hours, and those might be the days when you need meditation the most. The key is to take all the rules and all the judgment out of the equation and just sit. Then come back tomorrow and do it again. So if you think you don't have an extra 20 minutes. Gandhi had a lot on his plate, to say the least. While he was tossing the Brits out of India, steering his country toward independence, and fighting for equality for everyone, he still managed to walk at least 30 miles a day. 30 miles, as in 60,000 steps. So you'd probably understand if he said, "I don't have time to meditate." But he didn't. Not even on a day that would push most humans over the edge. Instead, when asked, he said, "I have so much to accomplish today that I must meditate for 2 hours instead of 1. So stop whining and just sit. Yeah, that actually reminds me of it wasn't a poster, it was a wall hanging. It was made of wood, but mostly it was just a picture laminated over it. And it was Jesus kneeling at a temple. I don't think it was outside. Sorry, this was 30 some years ago. And it had a poem on it called "The Difference." And it was all about how I woke up early one morning and rushed right into the day. I had so much to accomplish, I didn't take time to pray. And then I don't remember the exact order, but the next stanzas went something like, I tried to come into God's presence. I used all my keys at the lock. God gently and lovingly chided, "My child, you didn't knock." I tried... No, it's gone. I used to have it memorized because I would sit at the dining room table every morning eating my breakfast, and when I got done reading the back of the cereal box, I would look up and I would see this poem, "The Difference," every morning, every day, for many years of my life. But that part about Gandhi definitely reminded me of it, because that first stanza saying, "I was so busy, I rushed right into my day," the final stanza of that poem was, "I woke up early this morning and paused before entering the day. I had so much to accomplish, I needed to take time to pray." Ooh, I'm remembering more of it. "Problems just tumbled about me, heavier came each task. Why didn't God help me, I wondered. He said you didn't ask." So it's all about knowing when the going gets tough that you have to take more care of yourself instead of less. You have to prioritize yourself more, which is kind of feels counterintuitive, but is 100% true. So I am going to set a timer. I was running late today. If you joined live, you know I was about 10 minutes late, and that's fine because I wanted to get it right. So I don't have the clock to share with you, but I am watching the clock. So we're going to take 3 minutes. Relax your body. If you feel comfortable, close your eyes or let your gaze drop. And let us start by just noticing the breath. Where do you feel the breath in your body? Do you feel the air as it enters your nostrils? Do you feel your belly expand? Do you feel your lungs expand? Then contract. All on its own. No need to manipulate. or force. See if you can't relax just a little bit more with your next exhale. Allow yourself to feel fully supported by your chair or the floor. Give your weight over. Slowly wiggle your toes and your fingers and come back to your body. You can open your eyes. Let's all take a deep breath in and sigh it out together on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you for giving yourself this time. I hope that you have been enjoying the 8-week practice. As I mentioned, for week 1, I did 2 days. I did coincide with making my tea, so I set the timer for my tea to brew for 3 minutes, and I meditated while that was happening twice in the last 7 days. I also was lucky enough to join a presentation through the What Works network, which was all about looking back to look forward. And they began that interaction with about a 10-minute check-in, which is essentially meditation. So making sure we were all centered and aware and where we are when we began. So I'm going to count that as day 3. Thank you again for joining me, and I hope you have a wonderful Monday evening, depending on where you are. Until next time, let's be independent together.